Welcome to the Shape Up Summit. I'm your host, Ronnie Tsunami Gandiza, the CEO and co-founder of the Plant-Based Network. Today, we have a very special friend of mine, Dr. C. Dr. C is a host and executive producer of Infinite Power Productions. She's an award-winning television talk show hostess, working for several years nationally on ABC, NBC, Fox, and UPN networks. She currently works as a media psychologist, lecturer, and writer, having written self-help books and audiobooks, including Decide Your Future, and many national health, fitness, and self-help columns. She's now producing her new show, Beauty and Truth with Dr. C. Welcome, Dr. C.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks for having me today.
You know I'm a big fan of yours. You've motivated and inspired me to just go bigger and faster, as I like to say, tsunami style. A lot of that's due to you. So I want to learn more about achievers, because we're going to be talking about really, how you can help, right, make decisions to fast track young achievers. But I'm curious, before we get started, were you a young achiever as well? Because I just got this feeling you've done so many different things that you were a handful growing up.
I guess you could say that. I guess you could say I was an achiever because I earned a lot of awards for things that I did not pursue, but I just really always wanted to do things excellently. I'm not sure why. I didn't know if it was because I wanted to please my parents, but I think that had a lot to do with it. And I think it's important to back yourself up with a support system. So I have some therapy dogs I want you to meet right now. This is one. This is Jewel.
Oh,
also
wow.
A cheerleader. Yeah, she's a cheerleader. She's also a show dog. Right, Jewel? Yeah, she's a beautiful dog, therapy dog. Hi, Jewel. And here is her sister, Jolie. And so these are my really, oh, what's going on, Jolie? You okay? She slipped. She's good. Okay, so now you've met my therapy dogs, and they are magnificent, and they brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, I can tell you that much. And they're on TV from time to time as well. So, when I was a kid, I did have a lot of dirty jobs and character building experiences. In fact, I was not raised with any kind of a silver spoon in my mouth. I was raised with love and a wise set of parents. I mean, my father was PhD level as a teacher, but we didn't have a lot of money. So my father was a basketball coach and college basketball player. And of course, he was very tall. You can't tell how tall I am on this program, but I'm pretty tall. So anyway, he always told me quitters never win, winners never quit. And I took this to the limits that you cannot believe. My father would just watch me and say, oh my gosh, are you still doing that? You're so tenacious. I'm like, well, I gotta make it. I've gotta, and he would say, oh my gosh, I really instilled this in you. This is amazing. So I learned those lessons, but when I was 15 years old, I was allowed to get my first job. And I had already passed all the lifeguard exams. I was always quite I didn't know it at the time, but a lot of people now say I'm a mermaid, which is kind of fun. But I was always in the water, flipping around, and I got my lifeguard certification out of the way when I was 15, even though it was a little bit illegal to do by the time I was 16 to start working, I should say, as a 15-year-old as a lifeguard, because it's state certified and all that. So I went to work at age 15 as a toe checker. And what a toe checker does is they sit in the locker room by themselves, and as people take showers in the locker room, people come out and they put their feet up on a stool, and I would look and see if they were filthy dirty, or if it was okay with me that they swam in the pool. So I would send people back for another shower, or tell them, you got stuff going on, you come back in a week, you need to take care of it. So I had this dirty job of being a toe checker. So I mean, that was my first job. And of course, the managers of the pool knew that I wanted to be a lifeguard. So after about a week of excellent toe checking because I was really excellent. I was on time. I did it with a smile on my face, even though this was far beneath me, of course. They said, do you know how to teach diving lessons? Aren't you a diver in high school? I said, I can teach diving lessons. So I got in a little clock diving course that I taught. And then they were watching me and they go, can you teach swimming lessons? So I'm like, of course, I'm a lifeguard. Of course I can teach swimming lessons. And they said, well, there's no state law against that. So why don't you teach swimming lessons 9 and 10, diving class at 11, come back at 1 to 5, and then from 7 to 9 or something like that. So I had this packed schedule at the swimming pool. And after about 2 weeks of this, and I had some major breakthroughs with kids, deaf kids, all kinds of kids. I was having major breakthroughs where their moms were sitting in the bleacher watching and crying and thanking me because their kids wouldn't put their face in the water and I could get them to do things that their parents couldn't do. And I'm actually quite a clown, so kids like to hang around with me sometimes. So after that, they said, you know, one of our lifeguards is going to be leaving us and we would like to replace that lifeguard with you. And I said, well, you know, I'm not old enough. And they said, we're going to take the risk. We're going to go to bat for you. See, you can be a lifeguard here. And I was like, yay. So this is one of life's important lessons, that half of life is just showing up. Always take that job that's beneath you, because water will balance out and the universe will come and move you where you need to be. You just got to show up. You got to give it your all. Show the universe who you really are, and the rubber meets the road somewhere. That's all I can say.
Now, were your parents pushing you, or were you self-driven? How would you characterize growing up? Because I know you're an overachiever and there's a lot of things that you do.
I don't really think my parents pushed me. In fact, they never even told me things like, you can do anything you want to do. I wish they would have told me that. They didn't tell me that. You know, they supported what I wanted to do most of the time. Sometimes not. Sometimes they would think I had some crazy lame brain ideas like kids have. But they were supportive. They did not push me too hard. They did tell me I had to pay for my own college. They told me I didn't have to go to college, but I started with no money, and through lifeguarding, and I was trying modeling. I was doing anything I could, waitressing, anything to make money. By the time I was almost 17, I had $20,000 in the bank. And it was just because I was a good saver and because I wanted to be able to have choices. So if you have money, you have some choices. If you have your health, if you have good relationships, if you got a strong mind, if you want something, it's nice to have choices.
Wow. I'm sorry. Did you say how much money did you have at what age?
I had saved $20,000 by the time before I was 17.
That's what I thought. I'm going, wait a minute. I don't think I had $20 to my name when I was 17, let alone 20,000.
Well, that's because every time I earned $100, I only spent 5 of it. I always treated myself like I didn't have money, so I stacked it up.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have a presentation for us, again, to help parents. As you know, in the Shape Up Summit, we have a number of parents and educators who, you know, want to make decisions to help fast track people. We always want the best for our kids. I have 5 kids of my own, 2 grandkids. So I definitely have tried to instill a work ethic, if you will. But I know you have some other techniques. Would you mind sharing those with us?
I would be more than happy to do that, Ronnie. Love the plant-based network. I love Shape Up, and you know, I love what I do. This is my passion, so let's go.
Go. All right. We'll take it from there. Go ahead and share the screen.
Decisions are imperative in your life. Imperative, because you're either going to make a decision that's going to put you a step forward in life, or you're going to go sideways or backwards. The best thing you can do is always make your best decision. You need to always move forward, forward, forward. And in order to do that, you do need a system of checks and balances. And so that's why I have the 7 steps for making decisions. So you can check yourself to be absolutely certain that you are on the path that you want to be on. When somebody else helps you to make a decision, you go on the path that they want you to be on. So you have to start to be extremely conscious. And we're going to work on that today. I promise by the time we're done in a few minutes that you're going to be a better person and you'll have a more capable mind than you had right now. So let's begin. I want you to know that your mind is playing tricks on you. You think you're in control of your life. You think you're in control of your mind. Truthfully, we are not. We need to clear out the viruses, the different perceptions and the filters that we use, just like we have to clean out our mobile phones and our computers by restarting them. We need to take care of our minds, and we need to recognize when we need to reboot this stuff, because it's just the most important thing ever. Your mind is going to create everything for you. So when you start to recognize these things and how flawed the human mind is, and I'm talking everyone's mind, my mind, your mind, every human mind, it is the wiring that is the problem. And I'm going to explain that and show it to you. And I'm going to also show you how to overcome it today. But correcting these patterns and glitches will be easy once you can recognize them. So I need to ask you right now, do you think that we are or we are not rational beings? Are we taking a bunch of shortcuts and making poor decisions and not able to really give the kind of attention to things that it deserves? I think a lot of times we're sleepwalking, and I would make the case that we are not very rational beings. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you'll start to appreciate what I'm saying as we continue. So the human mind's got cognitive biases and some glitches that are just wired right in. For instance, cost sunk effect. This is what happens when you're in a casino, you've just lost $100, you're not very happy about it, and you decide that it would be a very good idea to double down and try to win your money back. And then maybe you can walk out a winner or at least not lose any money. Well, I got to tell you honestly, there is an entertainment value to losing $100, so we can't say it's a total loss. However, doubling down on poor decisions just begets more poor decisions. So we need to learn to recognize this and stop doing it. People do it all the time. People lose their lives by doubling down on poor decisions. Temporal discount. We have also hot and cold cognition. If you go into a car dealership and if they're nice to you, they make you beautiful coffee, they give you popcorn, they entertain you, they give you a lot of nice little gifts. Are you going to buy a car there? Well, market research says that you are. That is the hot cognition. And if people aren't nice to you, what if they have something that you need? Are you going to just walk away and forget the whole thing, forget what you really wanted in the first place? The mind is really funny like this. And I've got a whole list of these cognitive biases in the first section of my book that you need to take a look at. You need to recognize that when you're acting out the glitches, we need to recognize it and correct it so that we don't lose opportunities and wonderful experiences. So, yeah, once you start to recognize things, you can flip a switch. And we are so run by habits and patterns, and we create chaos with a lot of little decisions or maybe just an emotional outburst. You can set yourself back to the Stone Age in a situation, in a scenario with an emotional outburst. So we need to gain control of our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. And that's what I set out to do for people. So do you want to change the status quo? What do you want? Do you want to keep the peace? There are so many stances that we take. And sometimes just being nice is a disaster. Being nice is not going to get you ahead some of the time. Sometimes it's just going to get you into a doormat situation where you become the doormat. So we have to become very conscious of a lot of different things. And we have to be proactive rather than reactive. So again, I believe, and I know for a fact, just like I know the back of my hand, that your life is the sum of your decisions. It's really, really super, super important that you get that. Every decision you make is going to set you forward to a better place to take your next decision, your next choice, or it's going to set you back or sideways. And we need to recognize things for what they are, and we need to stay on the path where we want to go. That's whether you're a teenager or whether you're a parent. No matter who you are making decisions that do affect your life, and you want to constantly be so conscious of this. I got some good news for you. If you're struggling, you're doing it wrong. That sounds frustrating, doesn't it? So if you're banging your head against the wall, it's good news. Well, the good news is you can stop banging your head against the wall because you already know that you need to go choose another path to get there. Because when we're just beating ourselves up and we can't get through that door, if you chose door number 1, we got to go to door number 2 or door number 3. Don't give up what you want, just try it a different way. Because sometimes you're not going to get through that door, and it doesn't mean it's not meant to be, and it doesn't mean you also need to continue banging your head on the wall. So take this for what it's worth. It's a good thing. When you're struggling, recognize it, stop, and restart. Now I'm going to start to illustrate to you the flaws of the human mind, because this is our wiring, and it is a little bit unfortunate, but let's just play this game. Take a look at the black text, and you tell me how many F's are in this text. Several studies show that finished findings are the result of scientific experiments affiliated with the skill and familiarity of sophisticated professors. How many F's are in that text? You got your number? Did you find 9? There are 9. And I've presented this the world over, continent after continent. And I'm going to tell you right now, most people do not get the right answer. And it's because even though you're reading it, the sound is actually what your mind is counting. It's crazy. I'm telling you, the brain is crazy. So I hope that entertained you, but I'm going to give you a chance now to redeem yourself, okay? Because I'm going to give you some very flawed information, and we'll see if you can make sense out of it. Try to read this. It's pretty funny how we can read this entire sentence with all these letters out of place. Brains work well after all. I'm sure you were all able to read that, even though it's completely jumbled. Isn't that kind of fun? So you just have to be aware of things and what parts of the brain are at work and how they work. So we've got all kinds of circuits running us. Let me ask you, do you think that all the things that you say are due to your conscious mind or your subconscious mind? Because the truth is, and if you want to know, get your answer there, and I'm going to tell you, you are speaking from the subconscious mind. Isn't that scary? We are not really in control of everything we say. We think we are, but we're really not. What about all the things that you do? Is it the conscious or the subconscious mind deciding what actions you take? You may already know it is the subconscious mind. It's really important to recognize it and to start to get into the subconscious mind and reprogram it a little bit so that we can have greater success. And this starts young. So whether you're a parent or whether you're a teenage student, now's the time. And the major culprit with all of this is what I call the chatterbox. The chatterbox is at work because parents, whether you've ever said anything negative to your kid, and you may never have said anything like, gosh, you are stupid. Gosh, you make a lot of mistakes. Whatever that is, you don't want that to lodge in the subconscious mind. And unfortunately, it does. All these experiences, all these times when maybe another kid was nasty at school, maybe a teacher lost their patience, and perhaps they implanted the thought in your child's brain that they're just not smart enough, or that they shouldn't get a chance, or they won't make it, so they might as well give up right now. You don't want that, so we have to take those experiences and reframe them, and we have to get control over the chatterbox. And the way that I get control over the chatterbox is I just need to be louder than the chatterbox. I don't hear the chatterbox anymore because I have beaten that chatterbox down in my brain. I haven't heard it for an eon, but that doesn't mean I don't want to do affirmations. Affirmations will counter negativity, and you can have a free personalized lesson at this page listed at the bottom of the frame. bestdecisionsforyou.com affirmations. Go there with your kids, and let's come up with some winning affirmations that create winners, because it will make a difference. It's free, it's easy, and it takes just minutes a day to change your entire life. One of the best affirmations for me is that I am divinely guided, protected, and directed. I really love that one because I need to keep moving forward. I need to have the energy to take the next step, to take the next step, to take the next step, and to trust myself. So if I know that I'm divinely guided, protected, and directed, I continue to walk the path and I get what I want. It's not always in my time, but it always happens. Sometimes it happens faster. Another great affirmation is simply, I can do it. Because when you see something challenging, when you see something and you're just not sure, if you declare that you can do it, and you say it in that voice with that conviction, and you say it 20 times a day, that task is going to be performed, and you're going to be awfully proud, whether you're a parent or a kid. It's time to put some of this to work, because this is proven, it's effective. I've been doing it for a long time and teaching it for a long time, and it's extremely valuable. And if you're not winning at things, the most certain sign of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and think that eventually it's going to work for you. It's not. Albert Einstein will tell you that, and I'll tell you the same thing. In fact, I've got a great big Albert Einstein bronze in my house when you walk in, because I need to be reminded of some very wise words so that I create what I want to create. So I stay in control. So I don't make the same mistakes over and over. So I just decide to move on and do it a better way, because struggling is optional, right? We don't need to struggle. Suffering is optional. And you're going to reap some great benefits. Wouldn't you love all these things? Would you like to have clear direction? Would you like to be happier and love yourself more and have boosts of energy? Would you like to feel great all the time? Would you like to have joyous breakthroughs and better health? I think you would. And I know that when you receive these things, you're going to know that you earned them and you're going to feel great. And that in and of itself is going to make you stronger. When your self-esteem goes up, and I will tell you that at least 90% of people do need a self-esteem boost. You gotta go for it, people. You gotta go for it. We can all do better. And when we do, what a world this is going to be. You are powerful. We are all powerful, and we do need to take ourselves seriously. Now, on the other hand, we make mistakes too, don't we? I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. So what do you do with that? Well, you do what the actors do. When you flub a line, you laugh and you take it again. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You just take your line again. You live and learn. And that in and of itself will allow you to grow bigger shoulders. So don't lose your sense of humor, people. It's got high value, high value. I tell blonde jokes all the time, and you know what? It's not bad for my self-esteem. It makes me laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. It's also very healthy. Focus. Focus cannot be underestimated. Very hard to succeed without focus. We need to get rid of distractions. Get serious, get down to business for a certain amount of time every day in order to move forward. Focus cannot be underestimated. I will come back to that in moments, so stay with me a little longer. We're going to play one more game today. I hope you'll enjoy it. We're going to test different parts of your brain and see if they can work together effectively. So first, all I want you to do is watch my slides and call out the color that you see on the slide, okay? It's gonna be easy. Here we go. Black, pink, turquoise, red, orange, green, teal, lilac, white. Now, did you all do that with me? And you all had no problem with it, I would assume, right? We all just killed that, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Now in round two, we're going to play a little different way. And we're going to call out the color you see, not the word you see. So don't read the word, look at that color and yell out the color that you see. And I'm going to be quiet and we'll see how you do. Wow, how'd you do with that? That is a little bit confusing because as you know, that's orange there, that's not blue. So as soon as you see that, or as soon as you see green, that's not peach, that's green. Here's orange. And you know what that is? It is your attempt at multitasking and how difficult that is. So we're not multitasking, we're really just stopping something and starting something else. That's really what we're doing. And you felt it, I would think. And the world over, like I said, people cannot recite those colors the way they can in round one. And if you're a martial artist, if you're a football player, you have to be aware of so much at the same time. You have to be aware of not only yourself and what you want to do or what in that exercise, what you want to say, how you're going to respond as an athlete, but you're paying attention to the other players or your opponent. And, you know, it's not easy. Everything is learned. So just like you learn a game, you learn your brain, okay? So before we're finished, I just want to hit a few pearls of wisdom. And I want to speak to you about Alvin Toffler, who wrote Future Shock. Brilliant man. He said that those who cannot learn and unlearn and relearn will be left in the dust. Don't be that person. Don't be in the group. You do need to wipe some things out and relearn them because we get gunked up. Our brains are flawed. They have glitches. And sometimes just because you know how to do something, wouldn't you like to do it the easiest way, the best way, the fastest way? Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. Be willing to relearn and to master the better way. The significant problems that we face can't be solved on the level of the problem. We've got to look at the whole problem from above. We have to be able to have a lot of discernment. This is why I hate to say Washington, D.C. has always been a mess, because people are always trying to solve problems on the level of the problem. Maybe if we start with the cause of the problem, we could solve the problem. If doctors tried to solve problems on the level of the problem, you would get all Band-Aids. All you'd have is a bunch of Band-Aids, and you would never get rid of the cause of the problem. And that's why this is so important. If you have a recurring sickness, you want to get rid of the cause of the problem so it doesn't continue, right? Right. So people are only going to see what they're prepared to see. A lot of people miss opportunities all the time. They just don't see them because they're not trained to see them, or they see them as something that's bad. Well, you know, initially it can be bad, but what we have to learn how to do, we need to learn to be a little Zen. We need to learn that a lot of problems are an opportunity in disguise. And so we need to recognize that there could be an opportunity in that Cracker Jack box. So my book teaches you how to do this, and it gives you control over this magnificent brain that you have. Flawed as they all are, okay, mine is flawed, yours is flawed. Flawed as it is. We can master this. We can pull opportunities out of the hat all the time. We can have an exciting and wonderful day every day. Just because something looks bad on the surface doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. And we need to start to learn this, because this will change your life. Also, we need not to sell ourselves out to justification, because justification is just a lazy way to see things. And when we justify things instead of really getting our minds around something with critical thinking and then making a really educated choice, we're just selling ourselves out. And you're also selling other people out. You could be hurting other people that don't deserve to be hurt. So we need to recognize the ego when it's at work. We need to recognize the intuition when it's at work. My book will show you how to do that. In Decide Your Future, it shows you exercises and ways to see this in yourself so that you can start to get over on it. You can start to bypass some of these things that you've been operating on for a long, long time. And whether you're a parent or whether you're a student, gosh, it's important to do our best all the time, because every time you make the right decision, you're moving forward. And you want to move forward for yourself, your family, your children. It's really important. So learning intuition, that's such a gift. You will know things that you didn't know that you know. How great is that? Anyway, it's important to get down to understanding these things, utilizing the ones that are effective, and recognizing and discarding the things that are not effective in your life. I love this quote by Benjamin Franklin. Genius is the ability to hold one's vision until it becomes a reality. Yes, and that is genius. So what was he saying? He's saying we're all geniuses. All we need to do is stay focused and finish our task. We've got to finish that. Like I said, my dad always said, quitters never win, winners never quit. You know what? If you can hold that vision, get a picture of what you want, know what you want, hold that vision, and allow that vision to pull you forward. Don't give up. Yes, sometimes you may knock on door number 1 and try to move forward, and you may not get through. But you know what? There's door number 2, there's door number 3. There's an infinite number of decisions out there. So it's good to have a system of checks and balances for making decisions so you make a good decision. But also, if you're going to struggle, you might as well just try another door. Don't give up the faith. Don't give up your vision, but try another way. Stop banging your head on the wall, but hold that vision and allow that to pull you forward. And just lastly, take a minute to inhale all the universe has to offer. We need to learn to recognize that opportunities are everywhere, that life is so good. Not always fair, but it's always good. And don't forget to exhale your smallness, since it's only imagined. And I just want to remind you that suffering is optional. I'll have a lot more material on suffering is optional because I've been saying it for 25 years. And some people just don't get it. And it's funny, I just realized that picture of me scuba diving, the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. And, you know, when I say suffering is optional in Australia, people just look at me like I got two heads. But I'm telling you, once you know that suffering is optional, you're not going to be suffering like you are now. So trust me, let's move forward. Let's have a great life, and let's make it better for all the young people, because they're being programmed with some nasty things. We need to be serious, really serious about how kids learn. Right now, teachers are telling kids what to learn. We need to teach kids how to learn and discern, how to think. They really need critical thinking skills. This is not being taught. And there's a lot about critical thinking and groupthink in my book. I hope you'll take a look at that and realize that your kids are being programmed, and you want them to be programmed to be powerful and to be leaders, not to be followers and sheeple. They need to think for themselves. They need to discern. So I really want to help you with that. It means the world to me that you have a better body, a better mind, and a better spirit. And with that, I just want to remind you about my book. And I want to say namaste. Namaste. The spirit within me salutes and respects the spirit within you. Let's make the world a better place, because when we all succeed, wow, what a world this is going to be. It's going to be amazing. And people won't have time for pettiness, for crime. Everyone will be living the dream. And it'll be nice to bump up against those people instead of angry people, won't it? Because anger will conquer you. So let's be optimistic. We're going to get there together. Here's some other thoughts. You don't have to make the same mistakes. You can change anything in your life, from relationships, finances, you name it. Let's reinvent yourself. Let's do what you really want to do with your life. In fact, if you're young, it's a great idea to figure out what your passion is, so every day doesn't drag on. And that's reinvent yourself. I also believe in affirmations. If you're having a problem doing them on your own, yeah, I have a little plan for that. You can do them with me, and it's safe, it's effective. You can even do this in your car. This is not hypnosis. You can do it anywhere, in your bathtub, in your car, anywhere you like. So again, thank you for being the best you can be. That's the biggest gift you can give to me. Thanks for knowing the truth. Take your time, learn the truth, master the truth, and come visit me at drc.com. All right? All right. See you next time.